This morning in our Eye on Money series, the last minute rush to file tax returns. There is less than a week left for many people to meet the April 15th deadline. Massachusetts and Maine residents have until the 17th. The IRS reports the number of returns is down 1.4% compared with this time last year. The average refund dropped $20 to just under $2,900. That means the IRS has refunded more than $6 billion less this year. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here with what last-minute filers need to know. Good morning.
Hi.
So if you're a procrastinator, what should you be doing?
Well, clear your weekend schedule. You know it's not going to be fun, right? So we want to make sure that you gather up your documents and you figure out how you're going to file. The IRS says please try to do it electronically, and there's a few different resources. You know that there are commercially available software programs. You've heard of all of them. But there's also a really great resource the IRS provides, IRS Free File. If you have income of less than $66,000, it's great. There's also the fillable forms that come pre-populated. So this is a good idea. I know if you've got a complicated situation, the idea could be I must find somebody. But with a week to go, I think finding a person who you can actually sit down with is going to be tough.
So 2018 returns are the first tax returns, right, since the Tax Cuts and Job Acts. And I saw that one accountant was quoted in the New York Times as saying this is the most complicated tax season ever. So has it gotten harder?
Well, you know, for some people, yes, and for some people, no. I think it's confusing. We see that irs.gov website visits are up by more than 10% from last year. I think people are kind of worried about that. But remember, part of this has to do with the way you're filing. If you file claiming the standard deduction, it may not be as hard as you are thinking it's going to be. And looks like there's going to be about 85–90% of tax filers who will claim that standard deduction because it more than doubled with the new tax law. If you are an itemizer, it is going to be hard, and you've got to work your way through it. But again, don't freak yourself out. This is one of those things where if you just plod through it, you will get through it.
So 1 in 10 people apparently file for extensions. There's nothing morally wrong with that. I'm telling myself. And so is that extraordinary? Why is that? And by the way, if you're freaking out about meeting the deadline, is an extension an okay thing to do?
It's a great thing to do, and it's not very hard to do. But I want to remind everyone, this is incredibly important. The IRS will give you 6 extra months to file. The IRS does not give you 6 extra months to pay. Yeah. Sorry, John.
Sure don't.
So you've got to pay what you think you owe, or you will face penalties. But, you know, listen, you file the form with the IRS, you go on the extension, but remember 2 other things. One is if you are going to make an IRA contribution, you've got to make that by the deadline. You cannot go on extension with that unless it's a SEP IRA. And again, please try to estimate what you owe. This is incredibly important.
Better to overestimate what you owe than to underestimate. But to John's point, it's not morally wrong.
No, it's perfectly legitimate.
Yes,
right.
that's
All
good
right.
to know.
Excellent. Jill, thank you. Financial and spiritual advice.